Speaking of defendants, Stephen Bannon is expected today to surrender and be indicted again over the cash for the border wall scam that he participated in. This is very interesting. CNN reporting. Steve Bannon is expected to surrender today to face New York State charges related to his fundraising effort to build a wall along the southern U.S. border. Remember, this was the scam in which, when it became clear Trump wasn't going to build the wall and Mexico wasn't going to pay for it, et cetera, some individuals, including Bannon, participated in a give us cash and we'll build the wall thing. And it was a total scam. The state charges, which have been returned in an indictment, are based on the same conduct Bannon was charged with by federal prosecutors in 2020. If this rings a bell, it's because indeed Bannon was already charged federally for this. Then President Donald Trump pardoned Bannon on those charges as he was leaving office. Presidential pardons do not apply to state investigations. Robert Costello, an attorney for Bannon, said Wednesday that the former Trump aide is expected to plead not guilty when he is arraigned. The Washington Post first reported Bannon's plans to surrender. And then the other stuff, I mean, you guys probably would understand or expect all the other stuff. Bannon calls the charges phony. He says it's partisan. He says it's political weaponization. He says he's a leading voice to protect our borders. He says, in fact, I have not yet begun to fight. They will have to kill me first, which are certainly fighting words. There are two sides to this, and I want to remind you about the two. And by the way, by two sides, I don't mean there's two sides as to whether what Bannon did was wrong. That's not what I mean. There's two aspects to this. First of all, does the evidence point to Bannon participating in a fraud? It does. That's why he was indicted federally, and that's why he is now being indicted at the state level. It is correct. The evidence points to it. He should not receive special treatment. If the evidence is there, you must indict, and that's what's happening. The second part of this is the victims of the fraud, the victims of the scam. And we've talked about this before. Remember that, to make an analogy, after the 2020 election, when Joe Biden won and was clearly going to become the president, no matter what Donald Trump tried to do, Donald Trump started fundraising on send me money and I will do audits and I will do recounts and I will do legal challenges. And of course, I knew, and many of you knew, those were going nowhere. And if you look at the fine print, a bunch of that money was being used by Trump to pay off campaign debt. And there was this rich guy who donated, I think it was like $250,000, maybe it was even more, who then sued and said, I got scammed. I should get my money back because I got scammed by Trump. And we said at the time, Republicans constantly talk about buyer beware and you can't have a nanny state protecting everybody from everything. So should this guy really be allowed to sue in this way? Now, of course, he's allowed, but it could be dismissed or whatever, found against him. There's a similar aspect here. In the same way that Fox News argues, no one should seriously consider the things Tucker says to be literally true. He's doing entertainment. You could make the case that no one should really have believed that Steve Bannon was going to help fundraise for a privately funded and privately built wall with Mexico. It's absurd. It doesn't make any sense. You'd have to be a moron to fall for that. And so as a result of that, what sort of protection, what sort of relief from the state should the people that were scammed get? I don't believe that just because you're a Republican, you deserve to be scammed. I don't believe that. But there's a real question about this is so absurd that does it really warrant relief for the people that were scammed? And if so, what would that relief be? I don't know the answer, but I want to hear from you. We'll have more on this and all of our other stories from today on the David Pakman Show Instagram. Yes, you can find our Instagram at David Pakman Show. And you can also find some really wacky hate mail I've gotten in the last few days on my Instagram. I am David.Pakman on Instagram. That's a period, not like spelling out dot. David.Pakman. Find me there. One of our sponsors is Helix Sleep. I have been sleeping on a Helix mattress for years, and I always recommend it to friends. You'd simply take this Helix Sleep quiz. It asks you about your body type, your sleep position, whether you have back pain, and then Helix will match you up with the mattress that is personalized to your needs, and they ship it to you for free. Another reason I went with Helix is that unlike a lot of mattress companies out there, every single Helix mattress is made in the USA by a skilled production team, which means when you buy a Helix mattress, you are supporting great jobs. I'm not the only one who loves Helix. Helix was recently awarded #1 mattress by both GQ and Wired magazine. Every Helix mattress comes with a 10 or 15-year warranty. You can try it 100 nights and send it back for a full refund if you need to. Support the David Pakman Show by getting your next mattress from Helix Sleep, and you'll get up to $350 off any mattress plus 2 free pillows when you go to helixsleep.com/Pakman. The link is down below.